rested. The state has rested, and it looks like the defense is going to as well. We're just going to wait for the jury to come back at lunch. And Judge Boreski has made it known that after lunch, he would like to move forward with possibly closing arguments if Lori decides to rest. To be determined. You never know what you're going to get. But she does not want to testify, and she would like to. She wants to bring up Rule 20, which she believes is that the state hasn't met their burden of proof, and that she thinks this entire trial should be thrown out. I've heard that's pretty typical, so I won't give her too much hardship on that, because Nicholas Balance today, witness on the stand, brought, I think, some of the most, I know why they ended on him, some of the most, again, damning, solidifying evidence with the CAST data analysis, also known as cell phone pings. We know them as cell phone pings, sharing location pings. When it comes to the FBI, it's CAST data. Nicholas Balance is not on the live feed because he is a special agent and likes to keep his identity hidden from the public. And so I'll just say that he what he showed confirms conspiracy. And it is complicated. As far as what the jurors were understanding, I think it was complicated for them too. I mean, honestly, it was complicated for us. If you're wondering why I was a little late to this lunch live, and I am, and I have to actually head back in really soon, it's because I feel like I needed to go over our notes and sort of compare what he was saying, because the way he explains it is this number associated with, the Homer J. Maximus account was here. The track phone purchased at Walmart was here. The phone associated with Lori's email address was here. And then sometimes it's sort of like you had to map it all out and lay it out to sort of understand what was going on. And so here, after going over my notes, are what I think, dude, it's not looking good for Lori sitting there. She was with Alex, it looks like, when he purchased the track phone, also known as a burner phone, as in her phone. And look, it's true. When I say she was with, it's true that I don't know. We know that her phone was pinged near the Walmart where the track phone, at the time the track phone was purchased, the burner phone. So if I'm talking fast, this is my lunch live. If I say that she seems to be in the location, please know that what I'm saying is her phone, but you guys can infer that it was likely Lori. Okay. So forgive me, her phone, I think it means Lori. And the jury would probably think that too. So she was with Alex, according to her phone, when he was buying the track phone in the Walmart parking lot. They then returned to Rexburg, where they lived near each other, and that's where all of the phones pinged. Then what we learned is that Alex left his phone, his cell phone, the one connected to the Homer J. Maximus account, with Lori when the track phone traveled to Arizona, and that his phone did not really move from Lori's apartment after he left for Arizona. Now, it did move one time, and that was to the storage units. So Alex's phone is hanging out at Lori's apartment while he's allegedly in Arizona. And then the phone finally moves. And where does it move? It moves with Lori to the storage unit at the same time Lori is putting a tire and a backseat into storage with Chad Daybell. Alex isn't there, but Lori is. That's a big moment too, because she is caught on camera. So this whole idea, again, that you can say, and it was actually Lori's defense, her cross-exam was all about this, you can say that a phone might have been there, but that doesn't mean I was there. Okay, fair enough. I had to explain that at the beginning of this life too, but Alex's phone pings, Lori's phone pings at the storage unit, and there is video of Lori at the storage unit. Like, you can't make that up. Like, you can't claim that it was just somebody taking Alex's phone. I mean, the person that had Alex's phone would have been Lori at the storage unit. That's about as damning of evidence as you can get. We also learn that, you know how we learned that Melanie wasn't answering Brandon's calls? Melanie Boudreau-Pawlowski wasn't answering Brandon's calls after someone tried to take his life? Well, we learned that who she was talking to was Lori, that Lori was calling Melanie right before the shooting. And so, honestly, that's like sort of this moment of like absolute conspiracy, not just on Lori's part, but on Melanie Boudreau's part. I mean, we're learning all sorts of things in there. Like, you can't argue this stuff. So they're calling each other right before the shooting, and then they talk to each other after the shooting. And in the meantime, she's not answering Brandon's calls. It's crazy. Then you have Lori. There's just so much evidence with Lori and conspiracy and where she was and what she was doing. Then the track phone, the burner phone, it disappears not in Arizona, but in Utah, just around Salt Lake City. That's, you have to go through Utah to get back to Rexburg. So Arizona, Utah, I don't, they just got rid of it right after the shooting. They tossed the burner phone. But of course, you know, Alex, bless his soul, made sure, thank you, Alex, for this. You made sure to log into the burner phone with your Homer J. Maximus account. So we've got it all. You're the best. Thanks, Alex, for that one. Buy a burner phone and then log into it with your Apple ID account. Not the smartest, but I don't know. He left us with that gift. I mean, it's wild. So here's the thing. What's the jury doing? They're listening intently. They are listening, but I do think this is confusing, but it's nothing that they won't figure out back in like the deliberation room, right? Like they'll go over all this evidence just like I did right before this lunch live, and they will put the pieces and the dots together. It's very, very clear. And I am sure that Trina will lay it all out in closing argument. She always does. Her closing arguments weeks ago were a masterpiece. She tied the whole thing together. Even Carl said how powerful those closing statements were, as did Victoria and Tosh, two other jurors from Charles Vallow's trial that we spoke to. They also understood, and we're so grateful for Trina Kay's closing arguments before heading into the deliberations. Tosh is here, by the way, the juror Tosh, and Kathy. There are a few people here, but there is, let's see who's here. Megan Connor is here. Megan Connor is here. Nancy Jo Hancock is here. Rex Connor is here. Kay Woodcock is here. Ray Hermosillo is here, just attending. Lori's here. She probably doesn't want to be, but she's here. No motion we've seen yet that she was forced to be here, but we might find out tomorrow she was. Judge Boraski is here. I'm sure she's ticked off about that too. And, you know, somebody mentioned today in line, and I agree, there is more, I would say, solid evidence on this case and less circumstantial than there even was in her Idaho trial. Like, we are seeing solid evidence. It is not circumstantial evidence. It is solid. And so I know a lot of you have been also concerned that there hasn't been a solid motive laid out for conspiracy. When you have evidence like this, I don't think you need a motive. Whatever the motive is, they work together and they conspire to kill Brandon Boudreau. And they, now we've learned, doesn't just mean Alex and Lori. They is looking like Melanie. And, you know, I'm not happy to say that, by the way. I'm not giddy saying that, like, oh my gosh, like we are really seeing that Melanie was involved, because, you know, she's, you know, there's a part of me that hopes some of these people weren't so involved, that they were naive. And it's, the evidence has shown, as Lori used to state, the evidence will show that, unfortunately, many, many people conspired in Brandon's attempted murder. And he's lucky to still be alive. A lot of Brandon's family is here. A victim's advocate is here. Yeah, we're avoiding jurors right and left. I'm in a corner outside the courtroom I've never been in before because I was sharing a bathroom with a juror and I ran out as quickly as I could after we started washing our hands together. I thought, oh, geez. And, so we got to go head back in there. But we will bring you all of the details. Everything I said I know is a little scattered. I will have it laid out in a very organized manner tonight. So join our recap tonight. I will have all of it laid out and in a lot more simpler terms than Nicholas Balance is able to lay it out in court. He has to be careful, right? He has to explain. Oh, and then let me just say Lori's cross exam. Holy crap. Okay. Lori's cross exam again was totally blown to smithereens because her example was like, look, I could have a teenage daughter, which that is the part where I said, holy crap, are you honestly going to use the example of a teenage daughter that you once had? It that was actually despicable. But she went for it. I could have a teenage daughter, and my teenage daughter could go to an amusement park and take my phone or be logged into my phone, and then it would show that my phone would be in an amusement park, would it not? No, Lori, you were caught on camera at the storage unit with phones. Like, you were on surveillance. That storage unit video and timing, along with the cast data. Guys, this case has the evidence. It has evidence, probably more than any other case, honestly, from or more than any other trial from this case. All right, we've got to head back in. We're late. We'll see you guys tonight, and thanks for being on the live stream, and thank you to my incredible moderators. We'll see you.